Hello, everyone. Glad to be here. Glad to be part of this amazing event. I've been dropping in and out the whole time. And oh my gosh, who knew that Canada has such amazing talent? Well, let's be honest, that was Ukrainian. I feel like that's so close to Romania that I can claim it that was Romanian instead of Canadian. We're going to get into something quite tactical, and I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of information that I'm going to share that might seem a little heavy today. So I'm going to try to go as lightweight as possible. Um, I had this plan where I was going to share a multitude of screens. And from a tech point of view, I think we're going to stick a little bit to the slides. So I show you the kind of like the building blocks of what building your first AI employee looks like. And while I'm talking about that, let me actually share screen so that we all have it. Okay. And as I'm going through this and explaining what the plan is, actually, I know what I did wrong. I didn't share my face on it, but you guys know how I look, so I'm just gonna keep it as is. What I want to actually premise is, again, first off, it's gonna be sound like a lot of instructions because in order to set an AI agent up, you actually have to follow a specific flow and some steps. And for everyone that wants to dig deeper into how to do it themselves, I have this list of basically manuals, or what I like to call them, product documents that you can go very granular to follow the flow that I'm going to show you today. So you can do this for yourself. And then if that doesn't work, you can always call me and I will do my best to help you. So again, thanks for joining us. As we're going through this build, I want to make sure that if this is of interest to you, you can build it for yourself. But even more so, I think the most important part of this is to take the workflow and apply it to any build whatsoever. So let's get started. Really quick about me, you know me. This is just a little bit of a background. I've been in events for 20 years. I have been stressing AI for the last 4 or 5 years. And when I say stressing, I really, really do stress AI in a lot of environments, production and real life. I host Events Demystify podcast, one of the top podcasts in event technology and AI. And I'm also the founder of Fit for Events framework. Super proud of that, especially as it's catching fire in the event industry. And all of that comes from the things that I love to do because if I'm not passionate about something, I'm not going to do it. That's the truth. So let's get started because if you are thinking of the workflow of, in this particular, I'm going to speak from a speaker, from the speaker point of view, but this could be the workflow of a event professional dealing with speakers, right? The old workflow is pretty painful. We chase old PDFs, we rewrite the same page a dozen times, we dig through outdated folders and manually create
And
work
we
that
can bring
doesn't
the
really need
fundraising
recreating.
part
And
down to
nothing
15
about this
minutes.
process is efficient or scalable. And by the way, those slides are coming to you courtesy of NotebookLM. I'll share my two thoughts on that. You can absolutely get some really cool looking slides with NotebookLM, especially the latest version of creating slides. However, right now you can edit them. So if there's anything in the slide that might be misspelled, trust me, I wanted to edit it. And aside from me creating that slide again, which was kind of like, what's the purpose of doing that if the idea is to use the tool to do the slide for you? Yeah, so hopefully NotebookLM, the next update is going to introduce a feature to actually edit your slides. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, so the new workflow is where your AI agent can come into play to become this helpful assistant. And that is what I'm going to talk about today, how an agent is showing up to replace that entire cycle. Because what this agent does, it will pull past talks. Let's just say you're a speaker that hosts and posts and keeps all their talks in Google Drive. From that library, no, again, it goes back to having some kind of a library, having some kind of a database. So from that a library, it can pull all of your past pitches and topics and outlines and scripts. It can learn your voice. It can then read a new call for paper that it will research online or go and look for it. And then based on what's learned about your style, about the type of things that you speak about, it will draft the pitch for you and then save it into a new database. And that way you have this basically AI employee doing the work, so you don't have to go hunting for files, rewriting the same things, copy pasting marathon that's happening. And the most important part of this is once you understand this pattern, then you can use it to automate any repetitive workflow in your business or in your event business. So why this matter is because first, obviously, it frees you from doing repetitive tasks. And who wants to do that if there's another way? Second, it keeps your voice consistent. And then thirdly, it keeps your pipeline organized without manual tracking. So when you put all those things together, it makes your whole workflow faster, cleaner, and way more effective. So here's the structure behind what we're building. There's going to be a small Flask app that sits at the center. One side will connect to Google Drive to ingest all your past docs. For me, actually, I created the integration to Notion because my entire database of everything that I do lives in Notion. Then we'll use Cloud Code that handles the pitch generation, and then Notion or Google Drive can store the final output. And then all of this is held together in a repository library, which is GitHub. That's where you can upload your code for free so that when you go back to make changes, it exists. It's there. You don't have to, again, go hunt for it somewhere else. So all of those 5 pieces are working together to automate a workflow that you've been doing manually basically for years. So as far as the structure goes, this is something that you don't have to build. It's something that Cloud Code will build for you and will generate for you. So I don't really care much of building this, but it's important to know what's in each one of those elements because that's where you have your ingestion script, that's where you have the pitch generator, that's where you have the database writer, the web interface, the requirements of it all. But my job is to give Claude the right instructions and the environment to operate in. And then from there, Claude will handle the scaffolding. So like I said, what we're building is super lightweight. It goes into Drive, reads all the documents, and that generates the pitch, and then it writes it back into a database so that you can go back and give it the human overview as you should. So the tools we're going to use, Cloud Code, GitHub repo, Google Drive API, Notion or Google Sheets, and then the local Flask apps. And the reason why you need a local app is so that you have an interface that you can look at because it's nice. It has a nice UI, but you don't necessarily have to have that. You can easily work just in Cloud. You can easily work just in the terminal to do all the things that you need to do. And I think I'm going to share a little bit of screen on that side because so I stopped the share right now and we're going to share again. And the thing that we're going to share now, it's going to be Cloud Code. So let's get there. And if the screen doesn't look all that great, just know that we're trying. So here I am on the side of Cloud Code, and so this is where you would go into Cloud .ai / code to start a new session. I have a few different projects that I'm working on, but when you start a new, basically you want to create a project, and then that project has to be connected to a repository. That's why it's important to have that, because then everything that you create, and we're talking about pages and pages of code, which I'm not going to bore you with, but that is what's going to be saved. So next time you go into your code and say, hey, can you run this discovery for me? And what discovery would do is basically go on the internet, you let your agent loose to go on the internet and research all the conferences that are putting out call for papers so that the agent researches, then once it's done its discovery, it can come back with the report. And once you have the report, then you can send it into the next step, and that is the pitch generation. So I'm not exactly sure if I'm sharing the right screen or not because it's so hard to tell, but I'm gonna do my best to walk you guys through those steps. So I guess I stopped my screen share for a second. So we're gonna try this again. And I love it when technology just does its magic and doesn't want to cooperate. So what I'm sharing right now is actually the terminal because I personally like to work in the terminal more than I like to work in the web browser. And I want to clarify there's two ways in which you can engage with Cloud Code. One is in the browser, which you saw for a moment, and the other way is through your terminal after you have installed Cloud Code. And in my documentation that I'm happy to share with all of you, you will be able to see how to get that started because you want to be able to install it because everything else that you do from there, then it will be with Cloud Code in the terminal. So going back to the search, running the discovery, what this is going to do is it's going to be sharing some of the things that it's doing. And Cloud Code is really good at actually going step by step to tell you what is it doing. Like right now, it's going to go onto the World Wide Web, look for the CFPs, and then it's already found 68, and then it's going to put them together. There's also some qualification that I built in so that only the ones that are evaluated against my criteria, which you can easily build based on what your topics are, based on what you like to speak about, based on what's important to you, based on whatever criteria you create for yourself, then it will go against that criteria to generate a report. So coming back to share my next thing here, because I want to make sure that we follow the steps. How do we build this? I just wanted to introduce this for 1 second. And I'm just going to go to content only. You don't need to see me for this part. But basically, once we have our tools, then we're ready to get started with what we need for this agent. And part of that is, as I mentioned, it has to have a few things installed. Cloud Code installed, a GitHub repo created. All of those things are actually free things that you get to install. They're not something that you need to pay for. However, once you get into APIs, like for example, Anthropic, you will need either a pro account or some kind of a API to be able to go and do the extra work for you, right? So that's where that will be paid. Drive is not. Notion integration is not. You can have a free Notion account or Google Service account. The JSON file that you can generate, again, that's not paid either. So once we do that, we prepare a workspace. This is where it gets a little technical. This is where we want to make sure that we have that repo that I mentioned about. You can name it whatever you want. I had my name Mini Speaker Agent, and that is what gets connected then to the Cloud Code session, the project that you're working in so that Cloud Code always saves to the right location. So think about you having a filing cabinet that you want to put everything in. That's basically what the repo is for. And then once you have that set up, then from there it's easy because you're able to paste the PRD document that, again, it's something that you can create. You can ask Claude to create. I have one already created for you, so you can just take that and paste it into Claude Code. That will basically say, I want to build a mini AI speaker agent based on this document. Please generate the full project structure, the files, the web interface, and integration code exactly as specified. And that is the instruction manual that Claude needs in order to go into the next step. Once we have that, then we have to connect it to the destination in where the database is. For me, that was Notion. Now, when it comes to Notion, I personally have some very organized databases that I have built over the last few years that would look something like this, but they would house my speaking pitches, they would house my booked pitches, they would house my past speaking, my future speaking, upcoming, also the ones rejected. So all of it is in databases that I can then hook into, and then the agent can analyze. So if you don't have something like that, a spreadsheet would work, right? Like a way in which you keep track of all the things that you do when it comes to pitching for events, if again, if the application here is being the speaker. Okay, once you do that, and then you got that created, say you didn't have it, but you need to create it, or you had it, and now you just need to connect it to your agent. Notion gives you the ability to do that in my integrations. You just create a new integration into that, and then it will help you connect it to the right workspace. This is where normally I would go and share my screen and show you all what that looks like. And aside from me actually constantly going between screens, I'm probably not going to do that. We're just going to keep going with what the next thing is. So then once you do that, you give your agent a cloud identity. This is where the connection to the Google Clouds happen. And this can be a little bit of a interesting step in the sense that if you don't follow step by step by step, you can catch your ears into that. But again, I have all the steps ready for you. So then once you get into Google Drive API console, you are able to create a new project by going to the right places, the dashboard, the API and services. Then you can enable the API. Then you can search for Google Drive API from the list so that it gives you the JSON files that we talked about that's necessary. So we have that. This is where, again, it gives you the things that I just mentioned, the action items that you need to take in order to get this. This is the key artifact is basically the think of it a key to your house. In order for someone to get into your house, they have to have a way to get in, and that normally is a key, right? So that's what you're building right now. You give the agent the key to your Google Drive so that it can go and search for your past talks if they're stored in Google Drive. Once we did that, then we're able to also share the drive with the agent via this share email account that is created via the process that I just explained. I'm not going to bore you with this because, again, once you do this step by step, it's going to make lots of sense, and it's going to enable the agent to be able to get into the Google Drive. All right, so this is where I need you to take action. I need you to actually be able to go to this link, and I don't even know if I can actually drop it into the chat. For me to drop it in the chat, I'm going to have to switch screens really quick here. And let's see if I lost a gazillion of people here. But basically, I just dropped the link into the chat, and I wanted to be able to get not just the slides, but the instructions. The most important part of this is the instruction manual. Also, the PRD that we talked about, you're going to be able to get a bonus complete guide on how to build something else as an agent point of view, and also the mind mapping that goes behind this. So while you do that, because you do want the instructions, if this is something that you'd want to follow along, you want the instructions, then please follow the link and I will give you those instructions. So I have a way to contact you. All right. So now we will configure the agent's brain, right? This is where those keys that we have taken the steps to build come in very much handy. Now, don't share those keys with Claude. Yes, you can, fall into the temptation and say, I don't know how to create this NV file, but that's an easy create basically a text document on your computer where you paste all those keys and you save that because those are your secret keys that you need in order for Claude to be able to get into those places. However, it's not something that you just want to paste it out there in the chat. So create that file to store those variables in order for Claude to be able to follow the thread of where it needs to go. However, it's not something that you just want to share with anybody, because again, like when you think about API keys, somebody has your API key to Claude. Next thing you know, you go into a bunch of charges and you're like, what happened? I didn't use Claude that much. Like, why am I getting hit with $200 bills right now? Anyway, we've done that. And now is the fun part. This is when we give Claude all of the things that we talked about, and it will be able to follow all the instructions, because now it has the key, it has the manual, and then all you have to do is like watch it go into creation mode, into generation mode, and we'll do the whole thing for you. Folder structure, scripts, Flask app, HTML interface, ingestion logic, everything, it will be done because you gave it the instructions, the recipes. Like when basically you put something on the stove, but in order for something to be cooked, you have to put some ingredients in there. So that's what we just created. Now the thing is going to be cooking. And once it's got the cooking done and the structure is in place, that's when you can run the Flask app locally. And that will be the last thing that I'm going to share for you to see it in action. And that's something that you can create yourself. You can change a bunch of things, and I'll show you what. But what that's going to be is going to be a local app, right? So like if I give you the link to go to the app, you're not going to be able to open it because it has been created on my local machine. So it will stay locally on my machine unless you connect it to a different service, but that's a different story for another time. We skip this part because I want to just tie everything together here. Goes back to the start of operational AI fluency before I share the app with you. But basically, once you learn this pattern, then you start seeing opportunities everywhere. You can see a client onboarding, you can see proposals, you can see LinkedIn posts, content repurposing, speaker packets. All of those are workflows that you can create, and then you repeat the process so that you can basically build an array of agents to do different things for you. This was just a simple example of how that can be done. Okay, so I'm gonna stop that share, and I'm gonna go into the agent for you all to see what it looks like. And give me a minute, not a minute, that sounds like a long time, but a second to share the other screen. All right, so what you're looking at right now is this a speaker agent that has been created. And this one, it has a few different buttons, but basically it does all the things that I have asked it to do. It will run an indexer, which goes through all my past speaking. It will go and say, okay, so based on what I have learned, this is what I have discovered. Then this is going on the internet to scan a bunch of conferences and pick some quality conferences that I can pitch to. Then it will run the pitcher demo, which basically it starts qualifying what are the most plausible conferences that I should apply for as a speaker based on scoring that is determined of where my speaking topics fall. It also runs this reporter, which is a weekly report that I get sent to my Notion database so I can overview it, but also to Slack. I have built a bot that takes this. So Slack notifies me with a report like this on a weekly. It also does the analyzing of past events, and this is from Google Drive, right? So it did an analysis of my Google Drive past the talks, and then this is just means that everything is connected and the agent is doing the work. And all of this is built, again, going back to Cloud Code. So if I wanted right now to change something in the interface, all I would do would be go back into my terminal in Cloud Code and say, hey, let's do that. Change the color of the background of the UI to blue. So That would be something that right now I'm using API tokens for no reason at all because I kind of like this color. But I just wanted to put it into motion. Normally, I would be able to share that whole screen so you see it work on one side and then the preview of the outcome of what that is. But since can't do that, you're probably gonna see just the outcome. And ta-da, you just saw it turn to blue because and now I'm gonna say I didn't like that blue. Let's do something else. But anyway, that is all I've got. And since I want to be cohesive of time, I'm gonna stop here. I hope that this gives you an idea of how many other ways in which you can take AI and create workflows and processes to support whatever it is that you do.
Really appreciate you and what you've done in our space of educating us in a practical way of what we can do with AI. Seth?